against them for the purposes of criminal conviction.
Which apparently they've already set the precedent for doing. And also they laugh it up about how basically the plebs are all such idiots that we can't wait to give up our privacy like it doesn't exist.
Isn't it true for a lot of you people, though? A lot of you have these smart gadgets in your home that are constantly monitoring you. I even had a friend in the past who told me he'd give up his rights to feel secure in society, having drones monitoring everything, or what have you.
To wear thought-reading helmets.
And,
which they already have in China. This is an article I used in a previous video on Activist Post titled, China Tracks Workers' Brains, Now Tracking Children with Smart Tech Uniforms. Jump down to here. As I covered previously, China put the world on notice back in April that it was declaring full ownership over the brains of its workers and military with the imposition of brain-reading sensors in their respective hats, caps, and helmets in order to determine efficiency and safety patterns as well as general mental state. Concealed and regular safety helmets or uniform hats, these lightweight wireless sensors constantly monitor the wearer's brainwaves and stream the data to computers that use artificial intelligence algorithms to detect emotional spikes such as depression, anxiety, or rage. The technology is in widespread use around the world, but China has applied it on an unprecedented scale in factories, public transport, state-owned companies, and the military to increase the competitiveness of its manufacturing industry and to maintain social stability. The research team confirmed the device and technology have been used in China's military operations, but declined to provide more information. They're just one stepping stone away from those microchip implants, showing how these other nations are making an image to Esau's beast system with a cashless society predicated on microchip implants.
You know, personally, I think it's just a matter of time before there will be a portable brain decoding technology that decodes language as fast as you can type with your thumbs on your cell phone.
Wow.
And everyone will wear them because...
or have it implanted in their head.
People have shown that they're quite willing to give up privacy for convenience. And then that, I think, brings up a lot of really interesting and scary ethical and privacy issues.
Good ones.
They always talk about the ethical implications of this kind of technology and how it raises all these questions. And then they just go ahead and do whatever it is anyway. And look what he refers to it as.
It's basically sort of the universal brain-machine interface or universal brain-computer interface.
How far away is that?
Well, you know, there's 2 stages to that. So the minimum would be, you know, for a prototype, something like 10 years.
In the next decade, he's saying this is how it's going to be. Can you imagine, for just a moment, take it in, okay? The NSA already spies on all of your communications now. What's going to happen when everyone's stumbling around like the residents of Bikini Bottom in the SpongeBob movie with the bucket helmets on, wearing these thought-decoding, mind-reading devices?
I think the technology already is there, not to steal the thoughts from a person's brain, but to enable us to start to decode information in the brain. And so I think we have to think about whether or not the brain is some special place of privacy. Is there some freedom of thought and not just freedom of speech that we need to be actively protecting?
Do we really need to think about that? Do we really need to think about if the brain is a special place of privacy or not? Is that really a question that we have to ask? And if that's not enough for you guys, if that doesn't do it for you, they've been doing research openly since the 70s, but of course during MK Ultra much earlier, on implanting false memories in people.
Elizabeth Loftus, who's done some really fascinating work looking at planting false memories. Or she successfully, in a number of her experiments, has planted false memories, including people believing that they've been at Disney World with characters who are not Disney characters.
Many people believe that memory works like a recording device. You just record the information, then you call it up and play it back when you want to answer questions or identify images. But decades of work in psychology has shown that this just isn't true. Our memories are constructive. They're reconstructive. Memory works a little bit more like a Wikipedia page. You can go in there and change it, but so can other people.
Your memory is like Wikipedia. You can change it, and so can other people. What a comforting thought.
Not only can we put information in without blowing up your brain, we can put it in and then you can believe it so sincerely that the problem is you can testify to that effect. And
that's an omnipotent, godlike power, which just goes to show Esau Edom is that son of perdition in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, who's trying to exalt himself as the Most High. This is 2 Thessalonians 2, I'm going to start at verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, Esau Edom, the so-called white man, that red Hebrew Edomite, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called the Most High, by saying he can do it better with his scientific technological miracles, or that is worshipped, so that he is the Most High, sitteth in the temple of the Most High, shewing himself that he is the Most High. And one of the powers of the Most High is to be able to put ideas into people's minds to make them do what he wants them to do. This is Job 33. I'm going to start at verse 15. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men, and slumberings upon the bed, then he openeth the ears of men, and sealeth their instruction, putting ideas in their head to make them do what he wants them to do, which is the ability Esau Edom wants to have.
Now you're asked to testify as an eyewitness, and you're so convicted about having seen that person commit the crime, even though that person's utterly innocent, that it becomes a planted memory. And so there's some really interesting research that we can plant false memories in the brain.
They just keep saying how interesting this is. I don't think interesting is the right word to describe it. Oh, then they do this thing where they ask the audience who they would trust with access to their thoughts.
Let's see what the time...
Which 3% of the audience was like, yes, I would love the government and police to have access to my thoughts?
One of the emerging areas that's really interesting in law neuroscience is pain detection. And once we understand the circuitries that cause pain, I guess the question is, could we then instill pain and use that in many coercive measures in the legal system as well? So.
Wow, that's amazing.
It just keeps getting more horrifying, you guys.
This is an article from Business Insider that I also used on a previous video titled, A Group of Mark Zuckerberg-funded researchers is testing implantable brain devices as part of a $5 billion quest to end disease, which, as you should know by now, is just the cover story, since people like Mark Zuckerberg rub shoulders with the elites and are on board with that New World Order agenda. A less publicized initiative related to the $5 billion program includes work on brain-machine interfaces, devices that essentially translate thoughts into commands. One recent project is a wireless brain implant that can record, stimulate, and disrupt the movement of a monkey in real time. Sounds similar to hitting the pain receptors in the brain to coerce people into doing what you want them to do. We'll jump down to a diagram of it right here. Brain device that changes behavior automatically. In Mueller's paper, she and a team of researchers from Berkeley and a medical device startup called Cortera detailed how they used a device they labeled the wand to stop a monkey from doing a trained behavior. In this case, the behavior involved a cursor to a target on a screen using a joystick and holding the target there for a set period of time. They've got the wand system with battery implant on his head. Looks like a microchip implant. Placed on top of the monkey's head, the wireless palm-sized wand device connected directly to its brain. From there, it was able to record, stimulate, and modify the monkey's behavior in real time. So not only does Esau want to put memories into your head, but he also wants to control your movements as well. So there will be no way you can buck up to his system in the future. So that's pretty much it with the information on this video, Akim. But now I'm going to go to a precept we always go to when dealing with the mark of the beast. Back in Revelation chapter 13, this is verse 16. And he causeth all, that he being the elites of the Edomites, such as the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, what have you, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, a brain chip implant, and that no man might buy or sell, or have free thoughts, or have freedom of movement, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So Akim, whatever you do, whatever horrors may come your way during Jacob's trouble, endure until the end, and don't take that microchip implant and lose your spot at salvation of getting beamed up on the chariot and being the first fruits of the kingdom. So as always, I'm going to say Ababa Ball, Kwam Yasharala. Till next time, Shalom.